before I teach a single exercise, before I teach women how to connect to their pelvic floor, before we strengthen anything, there's one thing I teach every woman, and honestly, it has nothing to do with exercise. It's learning how to listen to your body. I am so happy you are here with me. I am just coming back from 2 weeks vacation, so I am easing back into work life. It is always so hard to make that transition from vacation back to work life and regular routine. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. It's only the afternoon that I'm recording this, and it hasn't been easy. But here we are, and I'm so happy that you're here to listen. I'm really excited to share awareness with you. This is the one thing that I teach every woman. It's learning how to listen to your body. And why does this matter? Most women think pelvic floor health is about doing more exercise, more stretches, more Kegels. But if you spend most of your day standing, sitting, moving in a way that's increasing pressure, so it could be holding your breath, gripping your shoulders, clenching your bum cheeks, and you're constantly holding tension in these patterns that you, and even habits that you do daily, then your body is constantly working against you. Your body is giving you feedback all day long. You just need to learn how to listen to it. And we are so busy. We are busy creatures. Women are busy. We're always on the go. We have what's next, whether it's kids, whether it's work, whether it's me time, whether it's grocery shopping, laundry, cleaning, cooking, getting the kids to practices, getting the kids to lessons, whatever it may be. We're always on the go. And you might not even listen to your body. And I find when I teach women to take a step back and learn how to listen to their body, these light bulb moments go off. We start to pay attention and we start to create these aha moments. And it's just simply taking time to listen to your body. So one thing is notice your alignment. So how do you stand? What is your posture like? This is one of the biggest things that I teach. And if you're listening to this podcast and maybe you're on a walk, or maybe you're folding laundry, which is what I love to do when I listen to podcasts. I love to fold laundry, or I do actually like to go for walks or runs. So if you're standing, how are you standing? So maybe just take a pause. How are you standing? Are your ribs flared? Are you leaning onto one hip? That's what I do. I always lean onto one hip, and it's my right side. Are your knees locked? Are your shoulders sitting up by your ears? So maybe if you're doing something that is causing, you're listening and you're doing something else, maybe you're like, your shoulders are up to your ears. That's one thing that's I find. I'm always like, I have to take a second to pull my shoulders down. Or maybe you're listening and you're sitting. Are you slouched over? Are you slouched over at a computer? Now, none of these positions are bad, but if you stay there all the time, which you're most likely doing, these are your habits that you get into, these alignment habits that we get into, our body starts to adapt. And then that changes how pressure moves through our core. So we've talked about this in past episodes, is that your core, your deep core muscle, is your diaphragm, your transverse abdominis, your pelvic floor, your multifidus, which is actually in your back. So we have that core force system. And if we're slouched over, if we're tucking our pelvis, if we're rounding our shoulders, if maybe we're gripping our bum cheeks, we're holding our breath, pressure is being put downwards, right? So pressure being how you breathe. You're breathing your breath in, your breath out, and we breathe all the time. We breathe without even thinking about it. It's how we stay alive. So when we're in these patterns of slouching and tucking and gripping, then pressure is just going to keep moving downwards. And pressure management is part of how we have core functionality. We can manage pressure properly, but when we take our breaths in and out, then we can have a functional core. But if you're slouching and, like all those things I listed, then pressure is going downwards. It's going into places that are weak. And that's why we get aches, pains, and pelvic floor dysfunctions like leaking, like back pain, like pelvis pain, pelvic organ prolapse, diastasis recti, so ab separation. So over time, when we pick up these alignment habits, that's when we start to notice symptoms pop up. So we don't need perfect posture right now. However, we want to work on changing our posture, but we can just start to create awareness. So your tip number 1 is just to start to notice. Just take time to listen to your body. Tip number 2 is notice where you hold tension. So tension, we all have it somewhere. And I'm sure if tension is related to feeling maybe pain or that achiness feeling, we all have it somewhere in our body. So for me, I hold like a lot of tension in my shoulders, in my traps. I always have to think about taking a deep breath in and out and just letting go of my shoulders. And I have to be mindful of that. And I know that I do that. And then from there, I start to feel tension in my jaw, which I feel is quite common with a lot of women that I work with. They have jaw tension. So maybe it could be bum gripping. However, when I talk about bum gripping, a lot of women have never really heard of it. And then when I talk about it, they're like, oh my God, I grip my bum all the time. And that's basically like gripping your bum cheeks together, like squeezing them so hard together. You might have tension in your hands. Maybe it's in your feet even. When we're stressed, our body protects ourselves. So we start to create that tension and funny enough, we're creating that tension to protect ourselves. The problem is it becomes a habit and we never let it go. So then our body starts to think, oh, this is normal. So being mindful of where you're holding tension and maybe where you're holding tension at certain times during the day. And then when you notice that tension, just taking that deep breath. And yes, here we go. Yes, I mentioned breath again. Every episode I'll mention breath, but just taking that one deep breath. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Drop the shoulders, relax the jaw, soften the belly. Just tells our nervous system that we're okay, right? Because if we have tension in our body, it's really hard to make any changes to our pelvic floor health if we're always holding. And when I say changes, I mean strengthening, functionality, support, release. But if we're always holding tension, it's going to be really, really hard to get there. So just be mindful of where you're holding tension. Even just right now, take a second. Oh, where am I holding tension while I'm listening? Tip number 3 is just create tiny check-ins. So tip 1 was, create awareness to your alignment. Tip 2 is that we talked about tension. Now we're going to take those 2 and we're going to start to check in to our alignment, check into tension. And they are pretty much hand in hand. How you stand. And if you're standing in a way like, let's say, rounded shoulders all the time, you're probably going to notice there's tension in your chest. So you start to connect those dots. So just pick a few moments. Maybe it's at the stoplight, right? Every time you stop at a stoplight, you're going to take a second. Okay, just going to check in with myself. Maybe it's every time you wash your hands. You're just going to take that second. Oh, really wash your hands, check in with your body. Maybe it's every time you fill your water bottle. When you fill your water bottle, take a second. Okay, how am I standing? Just check in. Every time you sit at a desk. So when you sit down, you just take that second to just, how am I sitting? Am I rounding my shoulders? Am I tucking my tailbone? Okay, maybe I just got to sit a little straighter. And just ask yourself, right? Ask these questions. So how am I standing? How am I sitting? How am I breathing? And am I gripping anywhere? Maybe can I soften something? Can I take time to just soften? This should take you like not even 30 seconds, less than 30 seconds, like 5 seconds. We obviously don't want to add more to our plate. I just want you to take time to create awareness. But over time, so if we're constantly just Every day, being consistent with checking in a couple seconds at a time and pick one of those, filling your water bottle, sitting at a desk, washing your hands. You'll start to change how you move. Now you're going to start relaxing a little bit more. You're going to be more aware and start to make little shifts and changes. If you only remember one thing from today's episode, please don't leave here thinking, well, I need to do more. I need to leave here doing more. It's not adding more. It's starting just to listen. I need to listen. This isn't adding to your plate. It's just taking a step back and listening. Because awareness is where change begins. So every habit, every posture, breath, every bit of tension you notice is an opportunity to start to help your pelvic floor and work with it instead of against it. So when you just start to listen and learn, that's your first step to change, because these habits, this tension, how you're standing, how you're sitting, could be the reason why you're experiencing pelvic floor dysfunctions like leaking, back pain, pelvic organ prolapse, that mummy pooch that never goes away. So a lot of these habits could be contributing to that. So here's my challenge for you. For the next 24 hours, don't fix anything. Just observe. Notice how you stand, how you sit, how you breathe, where you carry tension. Because once you start to notice those patterns, then we can start to make shifts and changes. And here's one thing I want you to remember. Awareness is not the finish line. It's the foundation. Once you start noticing your posture, your breathing, your alignment, and where you hold tension, you're no longer guessing. You're starting to build a roadmap. And I'm always big on teaching women to be empowered and to start to notice and start to make changes. So from there, you can start doing the right release work. You can start strengthening and you can start making small changes that lead to lasting results. But starting to understand your body more will help you on that path. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you were able to get something out of it. Take these next 24 hours and just start listening to your body. If something comes up, aha moment, or something that just was like, oh, I didn't realize I did that, I would love to hear from you. You can send me a DM on Instagram. You can write it in the comments, whether you're listening on YouTube or you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, but I would love to hear what you're noticing. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.